Welcome to Little Josh Yarns. Today we're making this drop stitch crossover on the Addi using 2 strands of yarn. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Alright, we'll hop right into the tutorial. We'll be using a N crochet hook, some Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Cafe Latte, and Red Heart Soft yarn in the color Art. Since we're using 2 strands of yarn and a drop stitch, I'm going to teach you how to obtain the correct gauge. All yarns are not created equal. One worsted weight yarn can actually work up bigger than another worsted weight yarn. What you need to do is to obtain the gauge. So I'm going to show you, this is what your work looks like when it's not drop stitch, but we're going to obtain a gauge for something that already has a drop stitch in it, so you can figure out exactly how many rows that you'll need. What you do, like any other gauge, you take your measuring tape. We're going to measure how many stitches in a row to get to an inch. So I lined it up. We have 1, 2, and a quarter rows equals an inch. So what I do to figure out exactly how many rows we'll need to crank out on the Addi, I take 35 rows, that's how long we want the scarf, times 2.25, that's how many stitches are in an inch, and it'll come up to 78 point something. All I do is round it up. So now I know when I make a drop stitch scarf that's 35 inches long, I'll need to knit 79 rows with this brand of yarn. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I think I said it correctly. I hope that helps, and we'll hop into the rest of the tutorial. We're going to cast on with waste yarn, and using 2 strands of yarn, we're going to knit 79 rows. Please work slowly. 2 strands of yarn can be pretty tough on a machine, but a little patience and a little prayer, you'll be able to make it through. Okay, at this point I've already casted on my waste yarn and knit 79 rows of 2 strands of yarn. So we are going to remove our yarn from the feeder, and we're going to crank around, making sure all your yarn is stuck around the little double pegs and don't slip off. Like I said, guys, be very careful on working with 2 strands of yarn. It was a killer on my machine. Okay, crank your work all the way around back to the very first black peg, but don't let the yarn slip off. We are going to do a drop stitch cast off with waste yarn. So take your working yarn and just stick it into the middle of your machine. We're going to crochet with that later. Okay, get yourself some waste yarn and thread it through your needle. And let's prepare for our drop stitch cast off. We will pick up the very first needle, follow the first loop, and we'll skip the next one and pick up the third one, number 3. Oh, my yarn gets cut up. Skip number 4 and go directly to 5. We're going to pick up every other stitch as you work around. So skip 1, pick up 1 loop. Skip 1, pick up 1 loop. Continue this all the way around. Once you're finished picking up every other stitch, you can remove your work from the machine. Now we're going to be working on a cast off edge. Using a single crochet, we're going to connect the back and front sides together. So I want you to locate the loops from the back that's still on the waste yarn and the loops from the front that's still on the waste yarn. Right here and right here. Insert your hook through the front hook loop. Now insert your hook through the back loop. Now you're just going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and chain 1. Okay, We're going to skip that drop stitch right here and repeat with a single crochet into the next loop that's still on your waist yarn in the front and the loop that's in the back. Sometimes the loop can get lost within the waist yarn, so try to pull it up through so you can find the opening. Okay, now do your single crochet. Okay, remember, skip the drop stitch. Insert your hook into the front loop that's still on the waist yarn, and insert your hook into the back loop, the one that's parallel to it, that's still on the waist yarn. Like I said, it's very easy to lose the loop within the stitch, so be careful. Okay, and we complete our single crochet. Okay, find your loop. See how the loop is getting sucked back into the previous stitch? Okay, you just have to pull it through. Alright, now find your loop on the back of your scarf. Insert your hook and single crochet again. We're going to continue to single crochet the front and back side together all the way across, and I'll meet you at the completion of this row. Okay, we made it back across. So now we're going to chain one and turn your work. You will single crochet into the same space and single crochet in each stitch across. This gives the bottom part of your scarf a nice even edge. Okay, once you make your way all the way across this row, you can fasten off your work and cut your yarn. And don't forget to remove all of your waist yarn. Now we're working on the opposite side. We're going to use the single crochet together stitch to sew the front and back together. So find your tail end where the yarn is still connected. Let me get you a better zoomed in view. And insert your hook into the first loop in the front and the loop in the back. Just a quick warning, it's going to be difficult to insert such a big needle into such a small loop space. So you're going to have to be patient with this. Okay, yarn over, and we're going to pull up a loop. Okay, chain one. Start your single crochet together in the same space. Now you got two loops on your hook. Now move to the next loop right here. Like I said, the stitches get small and your hook is big, so be patient. Go through the front. Now go through the back loop also. I actually had to pull up my yarn to find the loop. Okay, and work your hook into the back loop. Now we're going to work our single crochet together stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop with 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, now we're going to repeat and single crochet together the next stitches. Alright, insert your needle into the front loop. If you're wondering why we're using such a big loop, it's because once the stitches are dropped, you'll need a bigger hook size to match your stitches from once you pull it off the Addi and drop the stitches. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we made it through the front. Now let's find the back loop. I use a needle to help me pull up the loop a little easier, and it's quicker than just trying to pinch the yarn. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on a hook. Now let's go into the next stitch. Okay, work your way into the front loop. Now we're going to work our way into the back loop. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, we'll do it again together. Locate the front of your loop. Insert your hook. Locate your back loop. Make a space to insert your hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook. Move to the next stitch. Make a space for your hook. Insert your hook into the first loop. Make a space. Insert your hook into the back loop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and as your single crochet together, do that all the way across. I'll meet you at the other side. Okay, this is what it looks like so far. So we're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, we're going to single crochet into the same space, and we are going to single crochet in each stitch across. Continue this all the way across. I'll meet you at the other side. Okay, once you make it to the other side, just fasten off your work. I left the tail end a little long because I'm going to add fringes to the scarf a little later. Okay, don't forget to remove your waste yarn. Okay, on the other side, I already began to drop some of the stitches. This is the fun part. All you have to do is take your work and begin to pull. All the stitches that were previously dropped will begin to work their way out. It's a little tougher when you use 2 strands of yarn, so be patient once again. I really like how the drop stitch looks using 2 strands of yarn. Okay, continue to work all your drop stitches all the way down to the bottom, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here's what our scarf looks like with all the stitches dropped. I've already began to add fringes to the bottom of the scarf, and I'll show you exactly how I did that. Okay, we're going to work on the bottom seam of your scarf. To locate a good position, I just look to the very corner of the scarf, right here, and look for a position that I find best. Okay, I insert my hook through the little V right here. I fold 2 strands of yarn in half. Then I wrap the 2 strands around the hook of my crochet needle. Then I pull through the stitch. You're going to take the top section of yarn and chain 1, like so. Now take the bottom section of yarn, yarn over, and pull your yarn completely through. And now your yarn is secure. Okay, I'll show you again. You take your yarn, fold it in half. Insert your hook into the V part of your stitch on your scarf. right here. Wrap your yarn around your hook, pull through, take the top half and chain, the bottom half, yarn over, and pull completely through. Your fringe is secure. Okay, I'll show you again. Okay, fold your yarn in half, insert your hook into the V-stitch, wrap your yarn around the hook, pull through, top layer, top strands, chain 1, and bottom strand, yarn over, and just pull through. And it's secure. You'll continue adding fringe all the way around the bottom of your scarf. And once that's complete, don't forget to add buttons like pictured here to complete your cowl. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys on the very next tutorial. Bye.